you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's the team, down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. We chanted Super Blues, ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what we mean. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's hear you in the cup, singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the pointed road when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have a team that's tops here at St Andrews. They gotta give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever, let's hear it from the stand. So come on City, sing this song once more.
Ladies and gents, boys and girls, it's 7:30, it's Monday night, and of course that means the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by Boyle Sports, principal sponsor of Birmingham City Football Club, Emily Riley, French Polishers, and of course our friends at the Garrison Coffee Company. And between that, we have got our good friends at SCS Autos, and of course Excessive Blues and everybody else, Image Cleaning. You know, so many people do so many things for us. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Welcome all, and keep that shout box going tonight. We've got loads and loads and loads of questions to ask our wonderful guest tonight. I'll introduce him to you in a minute. In the meantime, we've got young Ollie in the room tonight, who's assisting Chris and learning the ropes. Hello, mate. And then we've got the one and only, of course, Mr. Mark Adams.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
In his robe, of course, as always. Craig Courtney.
Evening all, evening.
Mr. Fixer himself. Then there's myself, greetings and good evening, and Mrs. Brown.
Good evening.
Do we have Mr. Sheen tonight?
No, we have a Mr. Alan Watson. We have Alan Watson, though.
Well, of course we've got Alan Watson. How could we forget Chairman of the board, the one and only Mr. Alan Watson.
Good evening from sunny but cold Sussex. And
sunny but cold.
Yeah.
It happened to me once, but
it's only ever happened to me once. It never happened again.
And of course, our guest of the evening, and I know there's been loads and loads of reaction to this over the week. The one and only is a legend at St Andrews, a legend with every single Birmingham City fan, and we remember the commitment and the effort that this guy put in to our football club and for us as fans. The one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Noel Blake.
Who are you?
You're a bit late on buttons there, Chris.
Sorry.
One job. He gets one job a week, right? Oh, dear me. Okay, as we start the show tonight, then our thoughts and condolences have to be with the Luton fan that sadly passed away at Birmingham. Barry Lake. You know, words can't describe, because we are a football family. It's not just Birmingham City. Yeah, there's rivalry. Yeah, there's, passion and one thing and another. When a football fan comes to our city and doesn't make it home, then goosebumps. We will pay our respects to him and to his family, condolences. And, you never expect these things, but
no.
How awful. No. And I'm sure the respect and the love from every single Birmingham City fan is with your family and your friends, my friend. Rest in peace, son.
And indeed the football world.
Of course, the football club, yeah, everybody here. Not a great way to start, I know, but yeah, and you know what? We always pay respect at the beginning of the show, Chris, and I think that's always poignant and respectful. You know what I mean?
I agree, yeah.
Okay, so we've got Noel Blake with us tonight then, ladies and gents, girls and boys, and wow, what a player, what a man. And we'll chat with Noel in a couple of seconds, but first off, 3-0. Take that in, 3-0 against Luton Town. Yeah. My son, I was at work on Saturday, sent me a picture of St Andrews, and I thought, Git, you're in there, aren't you? And I said, nice one, mate, lovely. And he got his daughter, 9-year-old, with him. Now, I know about the protests that go on outside, but my granddaughter, this is my granddaughter, was sitting in the Gilmerick, lower, and all these tennis balls, lemons, and even bottles were being thrown onto the pitch. And do you know what that little girl said? Daddy, I don't want to be here. Huh? That's my football club. That's my football club. That's my son and my granddaughter. And if I count my dad, 4 generations of us have been there, right? 4 generations. And they all probably... Look, protest outside the ground, by all means. Inside the ground, it's about 11 players and a manager on a football pitch. That's my opinion, right? Don't upset my granddaughter because I don't like it, right? A child saying, I don't want to be here, Daddy. Oh, gonna Dad. Wrong. Yep. Completely and utterly wrong that people should make her feel like that on a day out. End of.
I didn't hear anything about the bottles. I didn't know that.
Well,
Nick,
I can only say what Scott said to me, right?
It's not good.
No. Stop frightening the kids. They're children, for crying out loud sake. Yeah. They want to go and they want to experience it, and like I say, protest outside. They do get to hear it if you're outside, right? But when you're inside, come on. Your protests have been on the news. It's been good, right? Yeah. There's been very, very little trouble. I know there's been a couple of arrests, right? But leave the kids out of it inside the stadium, please.
Agree.
Right. Okay. 3-0. Mark, what's your take on that? Did you go?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was there.
Yes, of course. Don't say of course.
I was there as usual. I thought it was the best home game in weeks, to be honest. I thought we passed the ball well. The new boys have just given us a new dimension.
Incredible.
Totally different dynamic. We just looked so comfortable and we looked at a different proposition. I just wish it was this sort of performances, 2 months ago.
Don't worry too much about that, Mark. And I'll tell you why. It's because we've got Stoke this week, and me and Noel live in between the place.
Yeah, I know that'll be a tasty one. Look forward to that. But yeah, I just wish this was the Blues of 7-8 weeks ago, because we're not going to go down. That was never in question. It's up there with the Perry Barr question. It's not going to happen. But I was really, really impressed. I mean, some people are saying Luton was off the game on Saturday, but 3 goals, clean sheet, and it's nice to have a bit of positivity for once. It's a lot of the games have been like, dare I say, like chores. But it's actually looking forward to the next game now, the next home game, the one after that.
And it's also nice to come on here on a Monday night with a positive thoughts and positive minds, and where are we going to take
this whole week? It's quite unusual.
It's quite rare. It's not unusual.
It's been lately, yeah. But apparently, according to the Luton manager, they were well on top till the tennis balls got thrown on.
I don't agree with that.
Right. What time did the tennis balls get thrown on?
14 minutes.
14th minutes, yeah. 14th
what was the significance of 14? No?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
What minute did we score? It was
21,
about
wasn't it?
Pardon?
21.
21.
I mean, the 6 minutes had passed, and we still hadn't got in their half by the time when we scored. It was the first time we got in their penalty area. But they, for all their pressure, and they did have a real good go at pinning us back. Didn't create anything. There was one feeble shot that Ethridge had to save, but the rest of the time we coped. I mean, we kept giving the ball back to them. That was the problem. But once we stopped doing that, there was only one team in it, and we scored 3 very good goals. And we should maybe should have had 2 or 3 more.
I mean, sorry to butt in, Alan. Just to say, what a masterstroke signing Lyle Taylor, because he is just
incredible.
The options of them.
Incredible. Do you know what? If we can get those three together, Mark, on permanent deals, I know the one is already right, but if we can get those other two on permanent deals, my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not going to happen.
I think Hernandez is more on whether Norwich get relegated, because if they go down, they're going to want him.
Yeah, agree with that.
And of course, he's not really in the 3-year plan, is he? So, he's
as Michael Wood says here, in Luton's last 9, they've won 6, drawn 2, and lost 1. And that's an incredible record for a team like Luton, who's not being funny. They're
not mugs, are they?
No, they're not mugs. No,
they're 8.
No.
So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Here's a fun fact for you. When was the last time that a man from Curacao, Cuba, and Montserrat all scored for Birmingham in a single match?
Probably 1874.
It hasn't happened before.
1874.
I was just saying that before the show, Alan.
Yeah, mate. I was thinking that myself.
Okay, that's enough about the game then, Craig, unless you've got anything to add to that, have you?
No, I was just going to say, we've said there about having a nice weekend and joining today, but actually walking out the ground and actually having a bit of pleasantry between the fans, what a difference, a win like that actually makes. And I've got to agree, I don't think some of those players that are on loan are going to sign for us, but they put themselves in the shop window, don't they? So if they turn up, they play for us, they don't sign for us, some other club's going to come in for them. So I'll tell you what, I don't care they're on loan. If they're with us next season, brilliant. If they're not, fair play. They've won themselves a contract somewhere else, but they've turned out for us, and that's what matters to me.
But we always miss out, though, Craig.
Yeah.
We do, unfortunately, after we have. When we go back over the years, we've had some fantastic loan signings, and it is a shame. But I tell you what, when we look at our loan signings as well, look at the names that we've had down there that have gone on to massive things afterwards. We do tend to pick up these youngsters and have them turn around. And Taylor's, he's 31, so he's no spring chicken, but he's also not past it. So,
No.
He doesn't. He looks a very fit young man.
Alan,
doesn't look like a 31-year-old at all.
Very confident.
I couldn't give him a run for his money, let me tell you.
No.
Okay, let's go to our superstar guest now tonight, then, the one and only Mr. Noel Blake. Noel, welcome to the Tilton Talk Show, and it's great to have you with us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on. Yeah.
Brilliant. You were just a machine, weren't you? I mean, the three of you there at St Andrews back in the day, my goodness me. I suffer from short-term memory problems, but my longer-term memory is really pretty good. Difficult to remember my own name sometimes, but there you go. But when you three were in that team, you were like brick walls with like stanchions behind you, and then behind that was diggers and like armoured cars and everything. You know what I mean? It was great. It was brilliant. And do you know what? That's what a Birmingham City fan wants.
Well, when you say the three, what others were there you're talking about?
Well, it's Mick, wasn't there?
The Beast, yeah.
The Beast. Oh, come on. You know the other one.
No, listen, we Blues have always had. When I grew up watching them in the 70s, they had personalities.
Yeah.
They had big characters. My favourite player at the time was Roger Hind.
Oh, superb.
The big Roger, yeah.
Take his teeth out.
Yeah, big Roger. He was playing alongside Stan Ireland. That was
Stan Ireland, yeah.
John Roberts. They were the centre backs when I used to watch them, and obviously Joe came along later. Obviously, had Latchy and people like that. So and Bobby Hatton, they had personalities. In my time, last year, Nick and TC, listen, they were characters, but they were also very, very good players. We knew how to look after ourselves individually and collectively, and that's what we were. The old expression, sort of wear your heart on your sleeve. We had a badge on our chest, and we had to we play for the badge as well.
Yeah, too right.
What a great thing to say.
Because everybody that plays for that badge, you can turn around and we will remember your name.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's. I think it's important. You just touched on it. Spoke a moment ago about some of the lads we've had on loan, the clubs that are on loan over the years, and I've been fortunate to work with quite a few of them, especially the English lads like Jesse Lingard and people like that. Good young talented people, and they've come to Blues. Ravel Morrison come to Blues, done well, and gone on to do well elsewhere. If any club with the loan market is using it properly, get your recruitment right, using it properly. There's some good young talents out there who are not getting games within their, obviously clubs only have 25 pros and 25 sort of that they can pick from during especially the Premier League players. Good, very, very good young talented boys out there, and then they want to play football. And I know we're all Blues connected with the Blues and what have you, but Birmingham City is a big football club.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
It's a big club. It can be big.
It's a big club, but it could be huge, right? And I've said this to so many people. The name Birmingham, second biggest city in the country. It's crying out for somebody to just come and say, you know what, I'm going to invest in this because I know it can go big.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah, well, this is not now. It's been going on for years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We do it every year, don't we?
Leadership. It's been going on for years. We've had these issues for years and years now. Lack of funds, lack of this. Obviously, the big thing for me, is at the start of the season when after the stadium was closed. That was an embarrassment. That was an embarrassment. Because that shouldn't be happening at the club. If you have that issue, then you get it done in the summer.
Well, they had the whole of COVID lockdown to get it done, didn't they?
Yeah. You move everything in there, get it sorted out, and then you come back in. You kick off the season when coming back from COVID.
Okay,
half your ground is still closed.
I'm going to go on to that, Noel, right? Because the club said they want to communicate more. Yeah, and they've had that very first meeting, and both myself and Chris Brown will be going to the second meeting. Right, I'm going to hurl some abuse at me. You can do. But I will ask the questions. And if you've got any questions that you want me to ask, just message me, right? I don't care what those questions are, how many nerves they jangle. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I've got nothing to lose, right? If you've got a question, message me and I will ask the question and deliver an answer. Now, the club promised an update on that stadium within 2 weeks. That expired on Saturday. Was it Saturday or Friday? Something like that. And we haven't, to my knowledge, and I haven't checked today because we haven't, at this present point in time, had the promised update. Birmingham City, listen, if you are going to make us football fans a promise, damn well deliver. Deliver that promise and keep to your word, because the distrust will continue until such time as you do and you grow some balls and you put the information out there.
Just to clarify, it's the contractors they're waiting for to say that, but I agree they should be saying
that update should have been. We are now waiting on information from the contractors. We haven't got that information yet. We're going to keep in touch with. They haven't done it, and they've failed on the first promise. Not good enough. And it's a pity that meeting's not on tonight, mate. I'll be honest with you.
Can I ask you a question, Nick?
Yeah, of course.
Have you guys got a spokesman?
It's a collective, I think.
Right, we don't need a spokesman, Noel. Right, we've got the people out here who are writing on this wall here are our spokespeople.
No,
right?
I get that. I'm sorry to call the question. I get that. But the point I'm making is sometimes with people in hierarchies, there's one person that they can go to.
Right. We've never, in 11 years, Noel, had anybody at Birmingham City Football Club, apart from Davo, right, who for a very short time was interacting. We've never had any representation with the football club. Anybody really? We've never even had a current player on the show. We've never had a current player on the show. We've never had we've had the photographer, we've had all sorts of people that work in the background.
Yeah.
But the club have never, ever once gone, you know what, this Tilton Talk Show, it's a big thing on a Monday night. Let's get stuck in with it. And they've never embraced us, not once.
They're missing a trick. I'll give you an example. When I was at Leeds, they had similar sort of issues at one point. But then what they did, the ground was owned by the council, etc., etc. But what then they did, they had a supporter on the board. Support on the board. It became the liaison officer between the fans.
Yep, which is brilliant.
And it really worked. I remember the guy Ray Fell, the secretary, and it really worked well. So there's a chain of command, and there's people could relate to people, and things were getting fed back in.
A supporter's eye view. Do you know what? Do you know what they did to us? Do you know what they did to us a couple of years ago, Noel?
Ask that question.
What they did to us a couple of years ago was take away our pucker pies, right? Part of our Saturday is having a pucker pie, yeah? And it is. And then we have these awful pies for a year or so. So we did Piegate. We were doing videos about the pies and how awful and bad they were. And they've changed back now to pucker pies. Look, I know it's only a very small thing, but fans make a difference. It is a bit. Look, I would be more than willing, right, to represent the fans, but I would ask the questions that the fans would be asking. And I'm not afraid to do it, right? Because you all know I'm a little bit outspoken sometimes. And if there was a board meeting there and this serious question came up, I would ask it. I ain't got a problem with it. Don't have a problem with it. Never had a problem with it. Never will have a problem with it. And then I would make sure that I deliver that answer to the people. The people that matter are the people that are writing on that shout box right now.
Yeah. And Nick, it's fair to say the fan-led review, I know we've mentioned it last week, and there's a few other things come out this week about it.
Yeah.
One of the main things that's part of that, when you actually go through the whole pack, which, yes, I'm sad, but I have read through it, and one of the things that's in there is that fans will be key to the running of the club.
They are. They're the lifeblood, Craig.
Yeah, they'll be involved.
We're the veins. We're the veins with the arteries, They're the heartbeat, and we're the veins and arteries, mate.
That what Noel's just mentioned, though, about having a fan as part of the spokespeople, being there to pass on those messages. Yep. That is a key part of that review.
I'd willingly do it.
Chelsea do it. And, people forget about it, but it's such a massive club and they have people going into their board meetings. I think it's absolutely superb.
I think with the fan-led review, if it all goes to plan, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Completely.
Yeah, but it's got to go to plan, Chris, and they've got to deliver on what they promised. They've already failed on one. And it's not good enough, and I would tell them to their faces.
Well, they'll have no choice if the fan-led review backed by the government goes through. That's what we're all hoping for. It is. It's going to be a game changer.
Because you know what, when you spent a lifetime at St Andrews, and Noel, you'll know this. You're 60, you're the same age as me. You've spent your lifetime there, right? You've laughed, you've cried, you've sobbed, you've been elated, you've been over the moon, you've had every single emotion, and it's all about what happens on that pitch, with the players and the crowd reaction and the songs and the passion that we deliver and the passion that you as players deliver, and it isn't a single solitary thing. We have to come together, and it has to be the whole team, and every single person who pays money to go through them turnstiles is part of the team of Birmingham City Football Club.
I mean, following on from that, Noel, can I ask you, if you put yourself in the shoes of the fans, Noel, what do you make of the whistles and the tennis balls and all the rest of it? Would you go along with that, or do you think it's?
Well, I am a fan. I don't agree with it with inside the stadium.
No,
I really don't. I'll tell you for why. I've had, as a player, when we've had demonstrations against boards by your own team at your own ground, and thankfully Saturday the result went our way. But I can assure you, it does affect the players.
Yep. I'm sure it does.
Having been a player, when my own supporters have been there, it does affect you, because it as much as you try not to, it does throw you off scent. You know, it does throw you off scent. And as Nick said earlier, by all means, with Blues fans need to protest. There's no ifs or buts.
Yes, I agree.
They need to protest, but it's doing it where it's not going to fuel the fire and get the football authorities against the club, for starters. You know, all right, people may say it's under the Championship, but, you know, trust me, it's transmitted all over the world.
Yeah. And then on YouTube, which is available, you know, in space.
Yeah. So if we're looking to attract major buyers from elsewhere, and they're seeing that sort of behaviour, then what are they going to think?
I'm glad you see it that way. Yeah.
Different ways of looking at it. But
I've got to say, the players on Saturday as well. I mean, my other half was watching it on the Blues TV, and the one thing that she said was the players were laughing. The players were laughing at people throwing tennis balls on. Now, if they're there laughing, then anybody that's on the camera, and I know it was broadcast on Sky, I know BBC put it out on Twitter, BBC put it on their website, but it just doesn't. To me, it meant absolutely nothing. It was like 60 seconds of people just pelting the pitch with things they didn't need to do. You know, they voiced their concerns. They were loud afterwards, right? It's almost as though there needs to be a trigger to get people talking about what's going on. But also, is this now beginning to wane? You know, have people, and I'm not saying, you know, I condone people not protesting and stuff like that, but have people actually thought to themselves, we asked for some communication, we asked for some updates, and we've got it. We asked for some changes to the stadium, we've got it. Now is it time? Continue to voice, but do it in the right way, but back that team when you're in the stadium. Like Noel said, it impacts the players. No way it can't. I mean, come on, we had a steward run on the pitch, and he's been, you know, that poor lad's got an absolute grilling when he got off the pitch. Right? But also, social media made him out to be an absolute martyr. He's, you know, he's the Blues and he's on social media. That's not right.
He's been paid to do a job, Craig. He was paid to do a job and he failed. Therefore, he must be dismissed.
If it goes in the referee's report, that could be trouble for us.
You know, massive trouble.
It's the same spot where the idiot run on and hit Grealish. That was the corner it came from.
Right.
That was the corner that was closed. You know, and people are going to look at that and say, there's a problem here. You know, we're going to close them again for 2 weeks or whatever, fine them 100,000. Well, we can't afford to be fined £100,000 every time. No, it was funny, but it was, the smile soon went off my face when I realised what was actually happening. Talking about putting the players off, the first one where they had the banner in front of the director's box, that put our team off. I can't remember which game it was now. It was 10 minutes to go when we were all over the place in the last 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, you know, they've lost the concentration. So it perhaps worked in our favour Saturday, but it could have easily gone the other way.
Well, my concern on Saturday was, in all honesty, the Sheffield United game, the whistles, the atmosphere was ugly because those whistles could cause so many people about to kick off with each other. It achieved absolutely nothing.
Scott Rothwell's put it on his own. He had 2 likes on it. I do think that's harsh on the steward. That steward is a paid professional with an SIA badge, paid to do a job. I'm just looking at it from my perspective, right? If he's paid to do a job, stand there and do your job, right? By all means, take your high-vis jacket off and do the protest outside. By all means. But don't let the world's media see one of our stewards who is paid to do a job run on the pitch. It's ridiculous.
The old secretary, what's his name, Jones, he once told me that the stewards, if the stewards pick the ball up and throw it back on the pitch, they'd be sacked. That's not their job. There's ball boys to do that. They're supposed to be looking at the crowd. And if they're looking at the ball, they're not doing the job. And he said that's an instant dismissal. So that's how, you'd think, well, just kick the ball back, you stand. But no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do your job. And it is a safety thing, after all. It's not, it's not like being a ball boy. You are responsible.
All right, okay. I'm sorry, Alan. There's some other comments coming in. Richie, he was trying to get a ball off the pitch.
Yeah, but the game
is that not his job? Referee blow up. Referee stop the game. Clear the balls off the pitch.
The ref had blew to start the game again when the person came on the pitch. So actually, and it was, I'm not condoning a tennis ball, first of all, but it was one. Out of all the others they cleared off the pitch, there was one on the pitch. But
it came on after the game restarted.
After
the game restarted. And that was a problem, because you're waiting for that. They got all the balls off. We're ready to go again. And as soon as we did, we knew that was going to happen. And of course, the lad, let's not be too critical. He reacted, and he probably standing there thinking, oh dear, I've done this wrong. He realised he got it wrong, but he'd been told to get the balls off the pitch, so he reacted. Bad luck.
Do you not think as well? Where he was standing, he was looking back at like in the corner where all the stewards were. So I was thinking, my first reaction was that he'd been told by another steward to go on and get.
No, okay, I know. All right, okay. I have to take a little bit of that back. What I said earlier, not a lot of it, but a little bit. I wasn't there, so I didn't see the incident, right? I will try and find it and have a look at it and bring a more objective view, right? But surely the leader of K2 security would have had those people in a room before the game started, knowing, when we all knew that tennis balls and stuff would be thrown on the pitch. This is your duty. This is how you act, and this is how you react.
Yeah.
What about as well, because there is some other comments on there, and I think one was just off my comments around the stadium. So just for clarity, when I say they've done stuff at the stadium, what I mean is the front of the Kop has had, albeit it's a facelift, but it's had a facelift and it looks 1,000 times better. Inside the stadium, Kop Corner used to have a blue board, and in fact at one point at the start of the season still had Adidas as our sponsor showing on there. That's now been replaced, and that's now showing pictures and artwork from games. So that's what I mean about the changes. There are still obviously fundamental works, as we've already covered, that have still got to happen. But a couple of the things that people had asked for, which was let's spruce up the stadium, let's make it look better, that has started. And that's what I mean by my comment. Those are the areas that have improved.
Violent says it's either going to be bans for supporters or fines or fine points. Please, outside demonstrations only. I don't want our club going further downhill because this ain't the Birmingham I know. I know we've got to do something, right? And I know we've still got to be up there and still got to be vocal about it. But be guarded on what you do, please. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Right, Noel, your playing career with Blues then. How many games did you play?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, Noel.
I think it was 78, 75, something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Right. Like that was back in the 70s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What's
more than that in the
70s? What was it like playing in front of a big crowd at St Andrews back in the day with the old Kop and the old Tilton?
It was great. It was great.
It was great being in the stands, mate.
Yeah, it was great in more ways than one. Obviously, being a Blue Nose and a local lad from Sparkhill, Sparkbrook. Then I moved over to Stotford later on in my teens. I used to go and stand on the Kop when I used to go down with my mates. When I came to England at 10, my uncle took me down the Blues in 72. Remember the first game, Wolves. We played the first game I went to was against Wolves. Mm-hmm. The Wolves of the Mike Bailey's and Derek Dugan, that period and that sort of thing. And it just sort of ingrained with you, walk across up through Smallheath across the bridge there from Donovan Road, where we grew up, and then just see you go to the game. You used to go with your mates from school. I went to Golden Hillock secondary school after the road. And Tuesdays, it's a long-winded way of me answering your questions, but Tuesdays, they used to play in the alternate Tuesdays, and they used to play in the reserves, used to play in the football combination. And the likes of Gary Emanuel and goalkeeper Vince O'Keefe, Mickey Rathbone and Ricky Sprague and people like that. We used to bunk off school on Tuesday afternoon, and go watch a game and stuff like that. But we knew, a few of us used to do it. I know my mates still go down there. I don't go down as often as I can, because obviously with work and one thing or another. But they still go down all the time. So I used to go and stand in the cup when, and even when I was at Villa, I used to get back after. Yeah.
£10 fine.
If we finished, we used to kick off at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock sometimes, and get back for the last half hour, like that. But playing in front of those passionate fans in the big crowds and that, like I said, it was great, because you always had that sort of a dream one day, that's what you wanted to do, to actually taste it, be part of it, the people say it now, so and so is one of our own. Well, there am I.
No, we've had a few people update us on the shout box. For your reference, 96 appearances for Blues and 5 goals scored. So one of the questions that's come through is, how gutted are you not to have done 100 appearances?
Of course, you're gutted, but you don't think about it when you're playing. You don't think about it. You just play when you're selected. I didn't miss many through injury or anything like that. Also, I think I missed one game through suspension. And I remember missing the game against Arsenal at St Andrews. I did my hamstring against Forest, and then Saturday, the bank holiday, I missed the game. Okay for the following weekend and stuff like that. So I didn't miss too many while I was fit. I was okay. I was always selected. So I've been doing something well. But it's just one of them where, it's time to move on. And so it went.
A question from Steve Job. He says, can Noel give us his views on the 1983 derby at Villa Park when he exchanged views with Steve McMahon at the final whistle? Now, you don't have to answer.
Don't have to answer it. Move on. No, I mean, obviously, the game, it's well documented. The game, was people may want to call it Battle of Villa Park. Wet, horrible day, windy day, local derby. Obviously, I will always be remembered for 2 things in that game. One, missing the penalty. I don't know. To this day, sometimes you reflect and you look back and you're thinking, normally I would take the penalty and I would blast it. I would hit him hard, and I'd hit him hard down the middle. For some unknown reason, I don't know whether because when I look back and I try to reflect on it sometimes, is whether because there's a bit of a delay. And I always remember going to fetch the ball, and it was in front of the old 10, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm putting this away. But and as I'm putting it away, I'm approaching it. I'm thinking, I used to play with Spinchy, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute. And Spinchy, to be fair to him, is a big unit, and he filled that goal. For some unknown reason, I changed my mind. And as I said, it was a wet day, and I just didn't make no connection with the ball properly. And he could have thrown his cap on it. I just didn't connect with the ball properly because I changed my mind. I knew if I hit it, and I got the idea from watching Mickey Shannon taking penalties. Shannon, if you remember, used to smack him down the middle. And I just got the idea of watching TV, and then I did the same. And I didn't miss. That's the first one I missed, and it's the last one I took. That was it. And obviously, from my point of view, the thing people always talk about is the McMahon incident at the end of the game. You look back on it. When you're involved and at the height of it, and the emotions are running and what have you, we sometimes do things that you're thinking, what the hell did I do? But at the time, for me, he said something derogatory, and I reacted, and it was as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, and I hasten to say here and now that it wasn't anything about colour or anything like that, but I just felt he was said what he said was derogatory. Obviously, Steve and I have been come up across towards many a time since. In
a good way, or?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's
Yeah,
been, you know, he was managing at Blackpool and Swindon, and I was managing assistant manager at Exeter. And you know, we came across each other. We've been to functions here and there, even abroad and stuff. We get on well. It's, you know, but when you're on the pitch, and obviously local derby, and then thinking back to the game as well, if you remember, there's a bad tackle on Kevin Broadhurst, which I think in the end, you know, more or less finished Kev's career. Listen, local derbies, you know, it's a passionate game.
Definitely.
I've been fortunate enough to have played in a few local derbies up and down the country. I've played in one in Scotland, a Tayside derby, Dundee and Dundee United. Trust me, that is a proper derby.
Yeah.
Can I take you back to December 27th, 1982, in another similar fixture, and a goal you scored that day. We took on the so-called European champions, and can you fill us in on your more pleasant thoughts, shall we say, about that day?
Yeah, I mean, it was my first game against Villa. Obviously, it's coming across from there to the Blues, and I knew the lads. I knew all the lads. I'd sort of grown up with them. You know, I was involved in the group that won the league and the European Cup. Although I didn't play in either game, but I was involved in the squads and stuff. And I just, the Villa fans obviously gave me pelters, as they say in Scotland. They gave me loads. You know, Villa reject, etc., etc. They gave me loads. And as you said, right, they were champions of Europe at the time and what have you. And it was a game we were down near the bottom, and it was a game that we felt over the Christmas period, in full house, everybody's up for the game, you know. And on the day, we played really well. After the first 15, 20 minutes, once we went in front, we played really well in terms of not what you'd call, and I don't remember the game, not what you'd call fluid football or anything like that, but what we did, you know, we ran, we scrapped, we battled, we had jumped, we had tackled, we had fought, you know, we got in behind them, and they never really looked like sort of, how can I put it, getting in behind us, you know, and I think the scoreline at the end of the day was about right.
Yeah. I must tell you a little story about that game. My poor father at that time was very, very poorly, and we tried to get him home for Christmas, and he stayed till lunchtime, and we had to take him back to hospital. So on the way to the game, I visited him, and boy, did he look very, very sad and poorly. I went to the game, and I went back on the ward at East Birmingham, and I saw the most healthy, happy looking man I've ever seen in my life. It like he'd come to life. It was such a beautiful moment, and I've always wanted to thank you and the boys for that day. You gave my father an extra day of decent life. Thank you very much.
Wow. That's just blown me away, mate. I've got goosebumps on my goosebumps now. Oh, God. Oh.
I was at that time. I was only like I was 5 or 6, so I'd have been playing with my Star Wars figures. I'd have wished I'd have gone to that game. To be fair, yeah. But I love hearing all these stories, not just from like ex-players like Noel, but like Alan just said, all the little anecdotes and stuff.
Well, old people like us.
No,
I think characters.
Chris. Oh, sorry, Chris. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was just going to say, it's fair to say there's definitely a lot of love, like we said at the beginning of the show, out there for you, Noel, and loads of questions hitting the shout box. So I'll just shout out a couple now. We got Shane Goff, and he said, we've all heard many rumours. However, is it true that you once kicked the Villa dressing room door? And also, rumour has it that you locked Julian Dix in a broom cupboard. How true are they?
True or false?
First one, false. I never.
He noted it.
I'll tell you something. The amount of changing room doors that I've been accused of booting in. There's even one. We had three lads sent off at Pompey at Sheffield United. We had 3 players sent off. I was still on the pitch, and I was supposed to kick the door in. And I just said, they came to me from the FA about fining me for doing that, and I wasn't guilty, so that was thrown out. But I mean, I'm big and I'm black and I'm ugly, and then people say, oh, I'm not there. Okay. Dixie was he was a little rascal. He was a great lad, Julian. He was training with the Blues first team at 14 years of age.
Yeah.
He's come down from Bristol, and then he moved up and stayed in Small Heath, with Martin Cool and lads like that. A great lad, Dixie. I don't remember locking him in a cupboard door and that sort of thing, but it may well be true. I don't know.
Kill that myth.
There's a lot of pranks. I think there used to be a lot of pranks.
That's almost like a no-comment interview, isn't it?
I don't recall locking him in the door anyway.
You're still working for the FA. They can't do you anymore, surely.
No, I don't work with them anymore.
No, right.
Oh, don't you?
Noel, a really, really, really seriously interesting question, right? And again, I'm never shy to ask a question, right? And everybody loves you, Noel. Everybody loves you. What's your take on taking the knee before a game?
Good question.
My take on it is, what would I do? I've never been in a position. Sometimes gestures are there to be like the Blues fans with the tennis balls and so on and so forth to get reaction. Now, would I take the knee, or would I do something in a different way? I don't know is the honest answer. My take on it is, it has had a reaction. It's had a reaction. Has it served its purpose? Again, I don't really know, because I see majority of players still do it and clubs still do it. 1 or 2 players will do their own thing differently by standing or what have you. It's a difficult one because I don't know. I've never been in a position. As a black person and a black player, a former black player, I think there had to be something drastically done. Whatever that looks like, I don't know. But obviously, like I said before, I think the Americans started it with one of the American NFL players, and then it's had a snowball effect, obviously with the Floyd incident and so on and so forth. It's possibly the best thing to do. Thinking about it, it's possibly the best thing to do because it's showing unity there and then, prior to going into battle.
Do you know how I show unity?
Yeah.
You pull that shirt on, I couldn't care what colour you are, mate. I couldn't care. If you've got a shirt on with a Birmingham City badge, you're my hero immediately, and I love you. End of.
The unfortunate thing with that, though, you see, it's not the players.
No.
It's people within. It's people within who behave that way. And unfortunately, the good people get lambasted with idiots.
I worked for an Indian guy for 27 years. I've had black people operate on my body and tried to get it. This was before my football career. Which lasted an hour.
That long.
And you know what? I shake it. I don't care. It baffles me. It baffles me. I don't care. You're a Birmingham City player, or you're another player from another football club. I'd never abuse another player from another football club over race. Never, ever. Right? And we got pulled up on this a few months ago, didn't we, Chris? Right? about calling somebody a Jippo. You remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know what? It never crossed my mind. Jippo. And you do it, but it never crossed my mind that's like an ethnic kind of, not an ethnic, like it's like a community themselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what the knee does, it reminds you of things like that. You know, it nudges you and say, you might have said something that you haven't thought about, but people doing the knee reminds people every week that this is a problem in society. And I think I don't like the fact that the Birmingham team are mixed now. So some do it, some don't. The Luton team on Saturday all joined hands and stood together. I like that because it's all in one.
Yeah,
the Blues team at the moment is some do and some don't, and either all do it or do something else.
I think it served its purpose, Alan, and I think it is now time to change to something else.
Yeah,
because
I don't see why it affected people that much.
Right, where this gets me is, look, George Floyd should never have died that day. Never, right? Never have died that day. But this always reminds me of what he did just prior to that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was still a human being, and he should never have been killed that day. Never, right?
Yeah.
And there was enough people around there to prevent that and to arrest him under normal circumstances, etc., etc., etc. And they failed. They failed him. They failed the world. To be honest with them, coppers did. They failed the world. And I just wish it's my absolute wish in life that we could just love each other and get on. It's nice to be nice.
Yeah.
Nice to be nice.
The thing is, though, Nick, you see, when you're a player and the black player that's been abused around the country because of my colour, it is an awful feeling that's inside you.
This is why I wanted to ask a question. Yeah,
you'd rather someone come up to you and give you a right hook.
Really? Yeah.
Then you can give him a right hook back.
Right.
You can solve it.
See, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, and I don't see colour as a difference.
Yeah. No. Let me say this to you. One of the reasons, I'll give you an example. One of the reasons why I went to Leeds United is this. I played there for Portsmouth, and for 90 minutes, I kid you not, every time I touched the ball, there was myself and Vinci Lair. Remember little Vinci Lair?
Yeah, remember him, yeah.
Nothing with Vinny. Never had a problem. He never got anything. Whether because I was an aggressive type of player or what have you. And every time I touched that football, it was shoot the N-word, what N-word, that effing N-word.
Really?
And Birmingham City was all been my first team, my first club I supported. My second team was Leeds United.
Do you know what? The first team I ever supported was Leeds United when they got beat against Sunderland in the FA Cup final, and all my family wanted Sunderland to win, and I felt sorry for Leeds, and that's, I had a little bit of an affinity, but I don't know. I don't have a second team.
Yeah.
Do Birmingham City women?
Yeah. But that's the what about the reserves?
Anybody, mate. The kit man, the guy who mows the grass, right? Who's the guy who paints the lines. Everybody there is my hero, I promise you.
But that's the reason I went to Leeds. There. And then when I became, if you like, the first West Indian born player to captain that club.
What a proud moment. Well done.
I started to see the amount of black lads that started to go to that club. So therefore, I felt that I've had an effect. I've played my part in helping to change things. And it's a bit like the question you posed a moment ago about taking a knee. People doing what they think is right to help to change views. Yeah. I had the same incident when I played for Portsmouth after I left the Blues in the early days at Pompey. Yeah. The form dipped when I started off well, then the form dipped. Someone on my wife and that were back in Birmingham, etc.
Happens to Chris every week, mate.
Yeah, sorry.
It happens to Chris Brown every week.
Yeah, but my form, my form dipped, and then a section of Pompey fans, they were just abusing me, not because of my football, well, a combination of football, would say, to be fair to say, but also my colour, and it became your own fans abusing you about your colour.
Mm.
But then I said, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm gone. I'm not coming back. Came home, went back home. Mum said, get your backside down there, show them what you're about, da 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 da. And Alan Ball, God rest his soul, my Pompey teammates, and the chairman, John Deacon, as well, and the directors, we ended up having this. And the proper Portsmouth supporters, they came out in abundance, and they changed people's views.
Right.
So we spoke about moments ago, Blues are split, some are standing, some are taking the knee or whatever. Mm-hmm. Solidarity. And that was what, in the end, that got Pompey promotion.
Yeah.
You see, go on, Alan.
Go on, Alan.
Alan, go.
Sorry, no.
Okay, can Oliver just wanted to come in on that subject.
Sorry, I thought Oliver was Alan. He looks like him.
Oliver. No, you can't see Oliver. Go on, Oliver.
No, I was just saying in terms of with the knee as well. Back when it all first started, you had people booing. I don't get why it affected people. Like it's what, how long before the game? What, a 5-10 second thing. It shows that people are trying to change, but I don't understand why it affected people. I don't understand why people were against it.
Right, okay, Ollie, I can understand, because at the Stoke game, right, I thought Stoke were going to kick off, and I started booing, and then everybody took the knee, and I was still booing because I wasn't watching what was going on. And a lot of people kind of turned around and looked at me. And obviously, I stopped, and I'm not a disrespectful person in that respect. And I don't look. We've all got 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 feet, 1 tongue, a nose each, and just because of skin colour, it doesn't bother me. And I think that's what bothers. It's only a personal thing. What bothers me is that because I just don't care, it doesn't bother me. I think that's what affects me with taking the knee. I don't. Can you understand what I'm coming to?
I know you're coming from.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, look, this is just absolutely me, right? If you're a black player and you've got a Birmingham City shirt on, mate, you are, honestly, I love you. You're my hero, right? Because all I want you to do is go out there, perform and play well and make me happy for the next week.
And you're easily pleased.
And then I'm just going to come back with that one, because see, that's a great statement as a Blues fan, and you're a black lad playing for Blues. You just want to say and you don't matter. But then unfortunately, and it hurts me to say this, but it's fact, there are Blues fans out there who will boo the opposition black players.
Yeah.
No. All right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you'll get what you get from me, right?
No, I'm just making.
What I'm saying is I don't get it. I don't see it. Like I say, I'm so grateful for that Indian man for 23 years of work. I'm so grateful for the black surgeons that have operated on my body to put it back together. I'm so grateful for the black bus driver that drove me safely. I'm grateful for anybody who in society does anything nice for anybody else.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
No.
But however, I'm not ashamed or afraid to have asked the question, as you can see, right? I'll ask the questions, Noel, no matter what they are, because I want a reaction. I want to understand how you feel, and I want to understand how other people feel.
No, it's a great question.
But we still love you.
Craig.
Yeah, no. So, a couple of other questions that are coming. One that I think is particularly good at this point in time. But if I start off with one from Stephen Gell, and he said that out of all the people and management that you've worked with, which one particular manager did you take a piece of advice from that you've taken into your own coaching career, and who was it?
Influences, I think.
It is influences.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate, really, in terms of the managers I've had. Obviously, Ron Swans I've had twice. Howard Wilkinson, Billy Bremner. I had a guy in Scotland, Jim Duffy. Graham Turner, I went on loan as a kid to Shrewsbury from the Villa. Graham Turner, some really good influences. But in terms of taking something into coaching, it would be, I'd flick a coin between Howard Wilkinson and Ron Saunders. Howard, to a lot of people, is dour and, you know, this personality or whatever.
And Ron.
I had a pop up in my front left leads and what have you. And the interesting thing was I didn't realise how good he was until after I left. Started to sort of get my head onto my thinking about going into coaching and so on and so forth. He was ahead of his time. And I promise you, he was ahead of his time in terms of the sports science and the diet and nutrition, etc., and the way we train or what have you. He was ahead of his time. You know, you see people wearing GPS vests now and all that. We were doing it with different ways. We were taking our pulses and so on and so forth, doing different. First time I'd ever encountered it.
Really?
Ron was very similar in terms of things like that, especially when we were at Villa, in terms of the way he worked us. We worked hard, and you know, people talk about the Leeds gaffer now, Basella, what his name is, in terms of how they work and their work ethic, and you know, 100 miles an hour, and they man to man all over the place and all that. All that stuff that was being done back then. So the big thing I took away from Ron Saunders as going into coaching was if you're gonna become a coach, get the spine of your team right. Get the spine. I always remember those. If you're ever going to become a coach, get your spine of your team right. And Howard was the same. He drummed that home to us at Leeds. You know, Howard's organisation and attention to detail was second to none. Second to none. So it's a long-winded answer, but it would be hard for me to separate Howard Wilkinson and Ron Saunders in terms of that. Other managers were good, but in different ways.
Just on the Ron Saunders thing, this was a bit light-hearted, but does Noel remember Ron Saunders trying to get rid of the gypsy curse? Did he have his boot soles painted red? Is that a myth?
Fact.
No.
You know what? When you can sum something like that up with one word, that was the only word you could have used.
No,
Madame Rosinia.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, nor me, mate.
So it was true then?
Yeah, it was true.
I think that was what fact means, Mark.
Wow.
We had our boot. The sole of our boots was painted red.
No.
Yeah, and because they were talking about this gypsy curse and in the Tilton goal.
Yeah.
And they came down and did, you know, whatever they did. People spoke and what, and we were given like sort of like a pamphlet with a coin and stuff like that. It's still in the loft somewhere. And a little thing like that. All the boots were painted red.
I can't believe this.
And I remember we played the Albion. And it was my first goal for the Blues. We played Albion at St Andrews, and people after the game, people were saying this happened in the midweek, and then people were saying that's sort of sucked the ball in for us to get the penalty. Kevin Dillon's got the penalty to win the game 2-1. We went 1-0 down. Peter Eastoe scoring, and then I equalised, and then Dill got the penalty late on. And you know that was all referred back to that because of the curse was lifted and so on and so forth.
It certainly wasn't, mate. It certainly wasn't.
Yeah, that was the story. I remember we went to Arsenal the following week and Highbury, and the cameras were following us going in and trying to look into the skip, the boot skip and stuff like that. And then we ran out the sole of the boots, you know, and stuff. Yeah, it was true. Yeah.
Did you, when you found out about that, Noel, did you sort of buy into it, or we sort of try not to laugh? You sort of nudging each other and saying, "What's going on here?" You know.
No, I mean, I think in back in the day, you know, players, you know, you were led by your manager. Led by your managers, and you know, you didn't really challenge your managers and coaching staff because whatever they said went. You know, so it's not like now where you know you see players come and challenges and comment on this and whatever. It wasn't like that in the day, you know.
Yeah.
You fell out with the man about transfer or whatever, and so on and so on, not being in the team. But in the main, whatever the gaffer said, you follow.
Incredible. Interesting question from Scott Rothwell again. Can we ask Noel if he ever had the opportunity to return to Blues in any capacity?
Yeah, I did actually. After I left Pompey, or told leaving Pompey, I came down and spoke to Gary Pendry. And at the time, I was seriously thinking about coming back to the Blues. But as it turned out, I went to met him at St Andrews. I went upstairs and sat in his office and speaking with him and whatnot. And then the reason why I didn't sign, well, part of the reason why I didn't sign, I had a few clubs to go and speak to, and I told the chairman Ken Weldon that I've got a meeting with Leeds, the following week, and a couple of days' time, I think it was. And then he said to me, "Go and speak to Leeds, and then come back and tell us what they said." And that put me off. That just put me off. That's not speaking ill of the dead, because I know he's part of the gym.
No.
But that was part of the reason. Another part of the reason why was in a meeting with Gary, and Vince Overson was the centre half at the time at the club, and he knocked the door and came in and sat, sort of plonked himself down, and in there, and I just thought, how unprofessional. I always remember, I just thought, how unprofessional. I'd come back, if you like, from Pompey, where I'd been 4 years, and they did things a little bit different, more professional in a lot of ways and stuff. And I just thought, no, this wasn't right. And then so I went up and I spoke to other clubs, and people, London clubs were offering whatever so-and-so offered you, we'll double it and all that. I said, no, I'm going to Leeds. My mind was made up to go to Leeds. And I think going to Leeds was, if you like, was a destiny. It was after the incident I told you about, with the N-word, F and blah. It was just meant for me to go to Leeds. And I did turn. I don't have no regrets in terms of going there, because I helped to change perceptions and views. Remember going around to school with Vinnie Jones and people like that, trying to educate people about.
Oh, Christ. I'm not being funny, mate. You and Vinnie Jones walk into a school, them kids are going to do what they're told to straight away, mate. No matter what.
We certainly have, yeah.
Wow.
But that's what it was. But that's the chance. That's a chance I had to go back, go back to the Blues. But since then, over the years, I've heard things muted, especially in the coaching capacity and all that. But nothing ever materialised from that point of view. But I did have a chance to go back as a player.
Right. Okay. What do you do nowadays?
At the moment, I work for myself as a consultant, and looking after young players. I do some mentoring as well. I want to take the mentoring on to another level.
You're still in the game then, no?
Yeah, but not. I'm still in the game, but not in the way I wanted to be.
What did you want to be?
I still wanted to coach.
Right.
But
and you still want to coach now?
I can't.
No.
Right.
I don't know if you guys were aware of it, but I had a stroke about 6 years ago.
Yeah. I did know about that. Yeah.
And then what it does is today. I've got all the energy in the world and everything's fine. But when I coach with passion. I'm a passionate coach. That's who I am. I'm not one of these coaches that sit there and you don't exist. No, I'm involved.
Yeah.
Some people 1 minute people say they look at Klopp, they look at Guardiola and Tuchel, and they'll say they're animated. If it's a British manager, you're animated. If you're a foreign manager doing it, it's great. Well, I'm just being myself. When Ericsson was sat there not doing anything, and managers like that, and they're saying, "Look, he doesn't care, he's not involved or whatever." Well, that's not me. That's not me. We've all got our own innate personality. You are what you are. I'm working my players.
I hope you don't mind me asking, Noel, but how did the stroke affect you? In what way?
Oh, good God, how did it affect me? It changed my life.
Yeah.
It changed my life. I went through spells of depression. I still suffer with anxiety. I had the suicidal thoughts.
Wow.
I'd be walking around looking at trees and thinking that won't take my weight and so on and so forth. And yeah, I'm gonna, asking my wife sometimes if there's any rope in the garage and stuff like that. And the thing with it is it affected me more emotionally than physically. It affected me physically, but more emotionally. And in the past, I was one of those ones when people said about people who took their own lives. I always felt it was sort of selfish. But it's only when I experienced what I experienced that I realized it wasn't they're not selfish. What it is, you're not in control. You are not in control.
Wow.
Thankfully, I'm over that sort of extreme case of that. But occasionally, like I said, I still have the anxiety issues from time to time. But in the main, I'm okay.
That's good.
Thanks for being so candid and honest, mate. That is commendable. Honestly, I promise you. Because there's a lot of people out there that suffer, and I've done it myself, right? When you get somebody who is Noel Blake, who is loved by everybody, coming out with something like that, you've just made an impact on a lot of people, I promise you.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Definitely. Well, there's so many questions on the show box. We are never, ever going to get through them all, Nick.
I know, mate. I know.
We need Noel to do his 1 to 11. If you've got that ready, Noel, and we can run through that if you want to.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's a lot of my mates and stuff like that, but it's not. It's the players that I played with the club. There's one or two who I've missed out, who came close to my thoughts. But anyway, here we go. My goalkeeper is Tony Colton. He's the best goalkeeper I've played with.
Had a good bloke.
Through my career.
Yeah, top man.
The footballing goalkeeper. He used to play outside, 5-a-side, TC. He was that good with his left foot. My right back, Davy Langan.
Oh, brilliant. What a player.
Fullbacks up and down. Fullbacks have always been doing it. So I had Langan on the right-hand side, Dennis on the left-hand side. And then this one might surprise people. I had Jimmy Hagan at centre-half.
Right.
Yeah. I don't even remember Jimmy Hagan.
Was it the gym player?
The fullback.
Yeah. Aggie was one of these players you could play anywhere on the football field.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, he was underrated. We took him to Blues, got him from Coventry. I think a small fee or a free transfer and that, but he was a good player. He was good in the air, quick as anything, and could play off both feet, and didn't mind a tackle. But a good lad as well, Iggy. So he would be my right side centre half. And next to him, I'd play Pat van den Hauw. Patsy, again, for me, at the time, I thought he was underrated and underused at Blues, in my opinion. I know he played maybe after Mark left. But that'd be my back four, back five with Tony in goal. That back four there got plenty of pace. All of them are quick. And they're all comfortable on the ball. If you talk about modern day players, they can feel that. And you know what? 1v1 with Dennis, 1v1 with Langy, go on. We'll play.
Nothing's going to get past that.
My midfield four, I've got Abby Gale on the right hand side, Robbie Hopkins on the left hand side. Robert's my best friend in football, best man at wedding. We've been mates since schoolboy days.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We played together. He's my youth team captain when we won the youth cup. I told him that he was coming to Blues. I'll never forget his face. Gaffer wanted to speak to him, and we came up from a game at Brighton when I was at Blues. Played at Brighton, and I had to go and find him. I knew I could find him. He was going to come to the Blues.
The biggest shame for him was that he never got to go and play at the Leyland Cup final, did he?
Yeah, that's life sometimes, isn't it?
One of them games that I sobbed with joy at. Yeah. Sobbed with joy.
Yeah, so they're my two wide players. Howie one side, Oppie the other side. Again, both got pace, both got goals in them, both love the tackle. Yeah. And passionate players, and they could deliver the ball off either foot as well. The two central midfield players, one may surprise people, Kevin Broadhurst. He was a proper leader, Broads. Proper leader, and in my opinion, a bit like Jimmy Hagan, underrated. But when Broads was in our team, we were a better team for it, because he did so-called unsavoury work. You know, he could tackle, Kev. He could tackle. The other thing with Broads, I never understood this. His name is Kevin, and it's spelled
K-E-V-A-N.
Typical Yorkshire.
How many people get that wrong?
Yeah, typical.
Well, maybe the registrar just made a simple mistake.
Yeah, true. Fine, he went to Dewsbury as well.
Oh, don't leave it. It's a vowel. It don't matter.
And then me and the central midfield players, Kevin Dillon.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Dill was a class player. I played with him at Pompey as well. Top class player for me. I played off both set plays, goal scoring from midfield, and the biggest moaner in the world. Biggest moaner. What a player. What a player. And then up front, you know, you want to call it 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1, in the way the shape is. I got a little Ian on the sides, God rest his soul. I'll tell you what, Bunter, we used to call him Bunter. Bunter could play anywhere in that front six. You know, he was that good. Technically very good. Picked it up, drove at people, drove past people, put a shift in, scored goals. You know, good team guy, player, but an all-round really, really good guy.
Nice.
And sadly missed. And then up front, the only one number 9 for me from my time at Blues. I know we had Mick Ferguson and people like Tony Evans and Neil Watmore and like that. But the one I'd play for is good for that, and Big Mick Harford. Top guy, top human being, and what a centre forward. What a centre forward.
That's a well-beaten team, can I promise you?
But, you know, with Mick, that run we had that year where we needed to, I think we had to win 6 out of 7, 5 out of 7 to stay up. You know, and he took them all on. You know, with his Chris Nicholl down at Southampton and Dave Watson and all that. You know, going up to Coventry with Peake and Kilcline, he took them all on, the big man. You know, he led the line, and you know, he was a top centre forward. Just lacked a yard of pace, Mick, really. But a 6'3", 6'4", he's never really going to be that explosive. But what he would knock it up to me, he'd hold it up. You know, bring others into the game, get across into the box. He can finish with his head on his feet. You know,
give it to Mick.
And your manager?
The manager for me, obviously, I only had the one manager at Blues, and it'd be Ron Saunders.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Wow, what a team that was. What a team that would be. What a team that would be now, today. And that would be worth like a fortune. A fortune. Okay, we're into the last 15 minutes, ladies and gents. Craig Courtney, can you quickly do the card that's now been filled? And more money raised for charity. Wonderful, wonderful people.
And with this, I should say that all the monies raised are going to FACT, which is our fund at the moment that we've got running to help purchase tickets for people to visit games at St Andrews. So thank you to everybody that has been involved. We sold.
What does FACT stand for, Craig?
Okay, so I'll just give a quick explanation on FACT. Okay, so there are quite a few kids and a few adults that maybe or may not have had a rough time lately. It may be that the kid's not been to a football game before, or the parents are having a bit of a rough time at the moment. And it's really just to give them that chance to go to a match, just sample the atmosphere, etc., etc. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise funds for an adult and a child, or maybe two, to go to a game. So far, we've had a fantastic donation from our friends at Bordesley Labour Cup, who have donated tickets for till the end of the season, which is absolutely fantastic. We've had a donation from our friend Mr. Mike Wiseman, and also we've had donations from our fans on Tilton Talk group.
Excellent.
So we've got tickets now for the rest of the season, and
That's
also
incredible.
we've got tickets going into next season. How about that?
I love you, Birmingham City fans. You are just wonderful.
Absolutely
I promise
fantastic. Sorry to jump in, Craig.
No, it's all right. So I can say that the random number that has been selected is number 14. And that is Norwich City, which belongs to fantastic, our very good friend Lindsay from
Lindsay,
yeah.
Excellent, wonderful news. Well done, Lindsay. Congratulations to you. Into the last 10 minutes we're going. So we're only going to do this for 10 minutes, ladies and gents, because talking to Noel Blake has been an eye-opener tonight, an inspirational eye-opener, I promise you. It's Valentine's Day, and I got the wench some flowers for Valentine's Day. I got self-raising, I got plain, and
you're in so much trouble.
I don't think you don't believe me. I'll go in the kitchen and fetch them, mate. Let me tell you.
I believe you.
And anything to do with the flower shop or anything to do with Valentine's Day, flower shops and Valentine's Day. Off you go. I'm going to start you off with Tony Hart and Tim Flowers. Tony Hart and Tim Flowers. There you go. There's two for you. There's two for you.
Danny Rose. I'll stick Danny Rose.
What about Lee Bouquet to the bow? Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Right.
I just want to. Violet says this show has been a great insight into Noel Blake, mental health, illness, racism, etc. Something I would love to hear more about. Not only are you a legend of blues, but I respect you so much for everything you said tonight. Sorry you had abuse of people due to your skin colour. Heartbreaking to hear. That's from our friend Violet.
Absolutely. Right. Well done, Violet. Thank you for saying that. We've got Peter Undlove. We've got Danny Rose, Craig Gardner. Craig Gardner.
Gardner. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear me. Oh, dear. I'm really sorry, no, but they crack me up every single week. George Friend. Okay, that's not really love, is it? No, break my heart. Who was that?
Oh.
Who was that? Violet.
That was Violet. Asa Hartford.
Hartford, I like that one. Well done. Yeah, brilliant.
Joe Hart.
Yeah, I've got Joe Hart. Yeah.
All art.
Nico Varzen.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. A whole lot of hot and love.
Ron Flowers. There we go.
Oh, dear.
What about Candle Litbarski? No matter. Move on.
We did. Petal check. Oh my god, where'd you get him from? Patrick Beagre. Oh my god!
We probably need predictions for the next game as well, don't we?
Yes, Blues Stoke versus Blues. It's up here in Chipland. Noel, you'll know all about eating chips in and around Stoke. Every time we beat them, I have a bag as a celebration. Had a bowl of flowers. That's the one that's beat me. That one has done my stomach.
So what is it about the chips? Because I don't really understand it. Are they?
Well, it's staple diet up here. It's massive chip eaters. Yeah, it's staple diet up here. Chips. There are more chip shops than humans in Stoke.
You get that?
Oh my God.
Go on, what do you say? Chipland?
Chip eaters. Stokies are known as chip eaters, yeah. Noel, you drive around Stoke occasionally, don't you?
I've been here 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never heard that before.
Google chip eaters when we finish the show, right?
Never heard that before.
Google chip eaters, right. You've driven around Stoke, haven't you?
Yeah.
What is it with them brown signs? What's this cultural quarter on it in Stoke?
What you're saying there.
You're in trouble. No,
Oh
what he's saying is, what is it with all those brown signs? Cultural centres.
Cultural quarter. The cultural quarter.
I think it's sarcastic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm winding them up. Love to wind the Stokies up. And of course, living here, there's lots of them around. So obviously would prefer a win. And I think the dynamic trio are going to really perform on Saturday. And I hope we get 7 again. I really do.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be nice because you know what that means for you, don't you?
I was going to say, Chris,
you have to do
don't
a
want
show
to
in
be
the
nice.
nude.
Yeah,
you have to be. You have to. If Blues score 6 Noel this year in any game,
happened.
he has to do a show in complete nude. Oh my God!
The one thing I will say with that is, obviously, I had the pleasure of playing for both clubs.
Yeah.
Stoke are going quite well at the moment, at home in particular.
Yeah.
They've had a resurgence of form.
Yeah.
A bit like Blues in terms of a few new players in the January window. And they're going quite well at home in particular. They had a terrific result at Forest the other day.
Yeah. It's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be
well. But it makes for a good game. And, so it's just interesting to see how that one turns out.
I think, personally, Nick, I think it'll be a draw. I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1.
You know what? I reckon we're going to beat them, mate. And I've not been this positive for a long time. After watching the highlights and that over the weekend, I think we've got it. We've got it going up front, certainly. Okay, we've got Jimmy Bloomfield, Chockendoy. He comes up every week. Jonathan Bransford divorce.
Oliver, what do you think against Stoke? Give us your predictions, Oliver.
It'll be a tough game. I think, to be honest, I think in general we're looking a lot better without Roberts at the minute. And I just think we look more.
To say that. Nobody else has said that. But you're probably right.
I just think we look more stable, to be honest. He's good, but he's not as good as we can have. I want to say 1-0, but I'm gonna go 1-1.
Okay, cool. Okay, we've got a few more coming in. Chocks and EK, love you a lot. Trevor a lot, yeah, love you a lot, yeah. Clever. Peter Valentine, ooh. Peter Lovenkranz, like that one very much indeed. My favourite is still that one earlier though, which was what was it? Yeah, keep them clean, people, please. There's children on.
There's some funny ones there that we're not.
Adibola flowers from Dom Kavanagh. We've got 3 minutes to go of the show. Adibola flowers from Dom Kavanagh. That one made my stomach hurt the worst, mate. Wow, what a night this has been. Noel Blake, right? A legend and a hero of the Birmingham City faithful. From the 80s, I know I was joking when I said the 70s. I was going to say the 50s, actually, mate. and for me, as a person, as a Birmingham City fan, to watch you put that Birmingham City shirt on, and for me to laud and applaud you back in the day, and then for me to talk to you tonight has been an honour. And I mean that. I genuinely mean it. The show, though, tonight remains and will always remain, because this is now being recorded, for Barry Lake, the Luton fan who sadly lost his life in Birmingham, who came up from Luton to watch a game of football and never went home. To you, my friend, to all your family, to all your friends, God bless you. Rest in peace. We're really humans at Birmingham City. We are. You know, I know we get a few numpties and one thing and another, but generally, you know what? We're all a big, big family, and we will always, always, always come together in sad times, in bad times, and in good times. Noel Blake, thank you so much for joining us tonight, mate, and thank you for being so candid and honest earlier. And it takes a real proper person, and I wouldn't say man because women do it as well, a proper person to come out and say how you feel, mate. I tell you what, it's blown me away, mate. I've got goosebumps, honestly, again. Blown me away that has tonight, Noel. What a man. And you only live at Newcastle. We could meet for a pint in a minute.
Oh, don't encourage. Don't encourage him, Noel, please. Don't.
But Noel, thank you for giving your time up on a Monday night and talking to Birmingham City fans about Birmingham City and about your times there and your hard times and your good times and your bad times, because we all go through them, right? But when you open up about them, it makes other people stand up and think, you know what, I need to talk about that. And it's good to talk.
That's the thing, like you just said, it's important that you share.
Definitely.
Something. Well, that's the idea behind it anyway.
Bless you. I mean it, mate, from the heart of my bottom. I mean the bottom of my heart. This has been the Tilton Talk Show. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday night. Another 90 minutes have gone past, and this has now been recorded forever. It will be on YouTube. It'll be all over the place on Facebook, one thing or another. Our great guest tonight, the one and only Chairman of the Board, Mr. Alan Watton.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
The man who fixes he fixes everything. He fixes all our guests. He fixes, I don't know, holes in walls or... No, Craig, you do so much work behind the scenes, mate. Guess who this is again? Oh, he's still at it. You do so much hard work for us, and we genuinely, honestly, really appreciate what you do for us. And with this show that we do, without you, mate, it wouldn't be anywhere near what it is. God bless you, my friend. Thank you so very much for what you do for us.
Thank you very much. And good night, everybody. Next week, a guest just as good as Noel. Let's not.
No one's as good as Noel.
Mick Harford joins us next week.
Maybe there is.
What a show!
Mark Andrew Adams, aka Mr. Roby, turns up in his bathrobe every week. Have you ever watched it, by the way?
No comment.
No, that means no. I'm sorry, mate. Because you hesitated, that absolutely means no. You've never watched it. You skip rap.
Good night, everyone.
From one of the best people that I know in my life, I promise you, the one and only Mr. Chris Brown, aka Mrs. Brown.
Good evening, goodbye.
From myself, ladies and gents, good night, God bless, take care, have a great week. I hope we get 3 points on Saturday. I so want a bag of chips. I will even have extra vinegar on them, I promise you. But the last words tonight are going to be from our guest, who's been an absolutely, truly inspiration tonight, the one and only ex-blues player, still blues legend, Noel Blake.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks very much for the invite, and just keep right on.
What a bloke. What an absolute ledge. Good night, God bless. Take care.
Bye.
Good night, all. Good night. And we're off.